All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Coming to you from the land of brisket and barbecue, Moonstars and Longhorns, this is All In Colts, presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in, fantasy owners. It's playoffs time. Whether you made the playoff bracket or not, we've got our insight on Colts players that can help your 2-week score and ones you want to stay away from. So let's go. All in Colts.
That's correct. I'm Kevin. This is my son Liam. We're the Unstable Blues. Happy to present All In Colts as part of the Rogue Media Sports Network.
Yep.
I made it.
You got it.
I
You're
made
in
it.
The playoffs.
I made it in the playoffs. I needed you to beat your 10-year-old brother. I feel a little bad about that, honestly. I feel like every time I have a conversation with him, I feel a little bad. But he's okay with it. It's his first year, right? Like he did really good in his first year.
First year, yeah.
Like he almost made it, but he ran up against you at the very end, and I beat your roommate. It looked good, and then it looked terrible, and you gave me awful advice, but you thought it was good advice.
It was good.
And then I really questioned whether you were really giving me good advice or whether you just wanted to knock me out of the playoffs. You didn't have to deal with me. But then you told me you really wanted this to happen. You wanted me to get in the playoffs, because what this means is I am the 4th seed and you are the 1st seed, and I just beat your roommate by 2 points, even though I put Bucky Irving in there and left a total of 48 points on my bench, thanks to your advice, and I still made it. And now we get to play each other mano a mano for the next 2 weeks.
I'm still gonna win. It's just how it's gonna be.
Hold on. Wait. I realized that we have at our very first week of doing All In Colts, right? We did our Unstable Blues audio only, before this. We did a risk it for the brisket at the very end that we actually executed in person, with a video here on our very first episode, I believe, of All In Colts.
Mm-hmm.
We have not had a risk it for the brisket. You came in close one time, but there were so many stipulations that it really was convoluted. So we need to give people what they need to see. So each of us need to have a risk it for the brisket.
Okay.
You didn't contend.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
We need to have a risk it for the brisket.
Brisket.
It's
biscuit.
So because you don't like brisket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan either, but I'm in Texas, so let's do it. So brisket, biscuit. So we need to have this, okay? Once again, way back at first, so let me set this up. This is how this works. We make a bold prediction, okay? This has nothing to do with our pick 6 and a out-of-the-box bold prediction. And if that comes to pass, if you risked it for the brisket,
it's biscuit.
Then each person gets to consume that item.
If you get it right,
to eat a biscuit, I get to eat a brisket. If that prediction fails, then that person gets that item in the face.
Yep.
You can go back to episode 1 here, all the way back, and see the damage done on my face by a brisket. By that same 10-year-old brother.
Mm-hmm. So maybe as a get back.
Maybe I don't feel bad anymore.
Yeah.
I just talked myself out of it. Okay.
You make yours first. I'm assuming
I didn't say it had to be now. I didn't say it had to be now. But at some point within the last, 4 weeks of the season, there must be a risk it for the brisket.
Okay. I like it.
That must be executed by season end. It can't be next year. No, not doing that. like the Colts are going to win the last 4 games, right? Or the Colts are going to get into the playoffs as the 4 seed, right? Something like that, right?
I got one right now.
This is it.
This is
This
it.
is your moment.
This is the risk it for the biscuit.
Brisket.
It's biscuit. And we're doing a fantasy episode, so it has to do with fantasy.
Okay.
I'm going to say I will stay undefeated. That is part of it. So if I don't stay undefeated, it does not count, which means I have to win every single week as well. I have to win this next week. If I am down points to you, automatically lose. I have to be up every single time. And I have to beat my opponents by a combination of 50 points.
Over the 2 weeks?
Not 50. That's a lot. I'm going to go 30 over the 2 weeks.
Over the 2 weeks. Okay. So you have a combo. Does that mean 2 biscuits?
No, it's one still. Whether I win or lose, it's still one.
Okay. I didn't because
No,
it could be
it's a
2
risky
delicious biscuits in your mouth.
It could be, but it could be, double-sided.
Yeah, just boom, boom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hold on to mine.
That's fine.
I'm gonna hold on because I do think that there's I came on strong at the end of the season. I got some tricks up my sleeve. I feel like you should have heard your brothers fighting over Lamar Jackson. Now that the 10-year-old is out, now he had Lamar Jackson, and so your next oldest brother is now playing your roommate, and he's devastated because the projections are off, but he's down by 11 points in the projection, and I'm trying to tell him that doesn't really, but
you were down in the projection.
He's desperate to get Lamar Jackson.
That'd be a
He's
good
trying to
pickup.
get he's trying to dish out 2 players to get Lamar Jackson, and Hendrick is just laughing.
Well, Hendrick
literally laughing in his face.
I think part of the reason Hendrick doesn't want to do it is just because he doesn't like him.
Well, yeah, there's sibling rivalry there, but he's literally he's smart enough about football that he's no,
Mhm.
no, I'm not taking Baker Mayfield and there was some receiver that was decent, but he wanted to give Baker Mayfield and Pitt for Lamar.
Gotcha.
Speaking of Pitt and Colts, segue to what we're really here for.
Yep. AR. Let's start off with him.
Okay.
He is the
Remember,
guy.
this is only projections because there was a bye week last week, so we're only talking projections. That's it.
He's projected to get 16. I would say he gets the 16, whether it be for rushing yards or throwing yards. It's in Denver.
You got to remember, you're in Denver.
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
Thing sales.
We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow.
Really?
Shameless plugging for Friday's episode. It's almost like we're excited for this game or something.
It's almost like the whole season's going to come down to this game or something.
Yeah, I know, right? So I would say AR is going to get 16. Since you just said that.
Yep.
Bucky Irving was not a good call. I don't know what people are going to think of my advice anymore. So I'm just going to project the points, say if they're going to hit or not, and then you do what you want with that.
No,
I'd say he gets over 16. If anything, it's 14. 14, I think, is the minimum this week for him. So you do what you want with that.
I think that's fair.
Pittman, 11 points is his projection.
Yep.
High
or low?
If Josh Downs is out, I see that happening. If he's in, it's going to be close. I think maybe a bit under, maybe 8 points, 7 points, something like that.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Adonai Mitchell, 4 points. I could see Adonai getting a touchdown in this game, honestly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go above on this one.
Okay. Right.
Alec Pierce.
Yep.
It's in Denver. I'm going above. I think that's a safer bet.
What's the projection?
The projection is 7.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him AR numbers. Whatever AR gets, I think he can get.
Yeah.
Because it's easier for AR.
Just going to drop it in the bucket.
Yep. Josh Downs, questionable.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We'll see kind of where he is. Maybe have a little bit of an update on him tomorrow.
I need to see where he is.
Very valuable to this team. He is projected.
It's on my team.
He's projected 11 points. I would say if he's in, he's going to go above that. Obviously, if he's out, he's going below. Out because he's not going to get any reps. JT is our final singular player. He's projected to get 13 because of his past weeks haven't been the greatest. He got 15.
Did pretty good. He did good last game, but the two previous were a little rough.
Yeah. I would say he's going to go above 13 because I believe that Denver's going to be like, oh, they're going to come out passing. I think what Shane is going to do is kind of like, dog walk them a little bit. Like, hey, okay, we're going to come out passing, throw a deep bomb off the bat, keep going, just start things rolling, and then they're going to run the ball. So I think JT is going to get those points. He's also a check down out there just in case. And then finally, the defense projected to get 5. They're going up against the hot Broncos offense. I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't put them in. We always say this. They're a bend, don't break defense. That's not the type of defense you want on your fantasy. For fantasy, you want defenses that get takeaways. That's what gets you the major points, or just someone that like consistently gets 6 or above points, honestly. And then that's pretty much it. I'm gonna say this again. I have before. I still think that the defense needs to be adjusted. For fantasy, they should have a linebacking group, defensive group, and a DB group. I think it adds more depth to fantasy more. And if you're trying to get people involved in the NFL, it gets them involved more because they kind of have to, do some digging. Which ones are actually good because those could actually mean a lot. Because, let's say the DBs,
like you could have the Titans secondary, which is like top in interceptions, and have the Denver defensive line, which is top in sacks, and all of a sudden, like your numbers.
Your defense is putting up bigger points.
I mean, it seems backwards that the actual league has this concept that defense wins championships, and yet fantasy doesn't matter, really.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like fantasy football should be reflective of actual real football, which is why I also contend and will continue for weighted kicker numbers.
Speaking of kickers, why don't we talk about Gay at all? I mean, I'm going to talk about it this week just because it's in Mile High. It's easier to kick.
Before you go there, I have a little bit more of a shameless plug tease.
Okay.
I would agree with you that JT will go over, should go over, needs to go over in order for the Colts to seal victory. I'm sure we will explain tomorrow.
Yes. Matt Gay.
Yep.
I don't know exactly what he's projected. I'd imagine around 6, 7, something like that.
Probably.
Pretty typical for kickers. With the way the Colts have been playing recently, it's been higher scoring games besides that Detroit game for them, obviously.
Yep.
But the Jets was high scoring and the Patriots were high scoring. 2 games after AR came back.
Yep.
They've been higher scoring games, which means more points for the kicker, whether that be field goals or extra points, because field goals are 3, extra points are 1. Same scoring it is in the actual game.
Yep.
My thing is last year I had the Giants kicker, Graham Gano, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone thought, I was like, why are you doing that? I said, because the Giants are good enough to get it into field goal range, but cannot finish the job. And Graham Gano is a good enough kicker to make the kicks.
Yep.
For 50 plus. So you want someone who consistently gets into field goal range, whether that be a touchdown or a field goal. Like if you see the Bengals might run up the score a ton this week, because that's kind of the first team that comes to my mind, or Detroit. If you see them running up the score with a whole bunch of touchdowns, that's at least 1 point after each touchdowns.
Yep.
Hence why I have I think his name is Jake Bates in both of my leagues for Detroit. He gets me 10 points every single week, which is a lot for a kicker, and that adds huge value.
Yep.
So
I like it. Well, you know what? That's it for today. We're going to be back tomorrow, though, with our complete break. Colts take their best chances at the second season as they visit Peyton Manning's new city for the second meeting in the past 3 years with the Broncos in Denver.
Yep. This is Liam,
And this is Kevin.
reminding you to stay all in Colts.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.